Hello, YouTube. The stock market is failing. So, what exactly does that mean? It means that we're breaking out and breaking down, but failing to hold it. Last week, it was a failed breakdown, which led to a bullish engulfing candle. And now, this week, give or take a couple of cents, we have a failed breakout because we broke out above last week's range with a gap up. And now we're just failing to hold it. At 404.45 is the exact level. But why does this matter, Justin? Well, because we got the big man talking tomorrow. Jerome Powell is talking tomorrow starting at 10 and also on Wednesday. So there's a lot for us to go through. Let's jump straight in because I think that where we left things yesterday, on the weekend is a great place for us to pick up in a few minutes, meaning we're going to be looking here at the pattern where we stop going down, we go up, and then we have the start of a reversal pattern, just like we do right here. And right here means going back to January 17th. Well, isn't that like exactly what we have here? Yep. And then we slam back down to fill our gap right here on the 50 DMA. What do we have right now? Oh my goodness. We have a gap and we have our 50 DMA curling up. It's almost like the stars are aligning for us to go down. That's right. So Jerome's going to be in focus tomorrow. And I think, I think he's going to be a little bit hawkish. So stick with me for a few minutes. I'm going to get through the news so we can understand the context of what happened today. And then we're going to look at some charts and leave you with a clear plan of action for tomorrow. Let's get in. Right, here's what we're going to come back and talk about a little bit later. It is the note that I laid out to our group this morning, meaning a top fish play short. And now there's the easier part to enter short once we actually have that failed breakout. We'll circle back and talk about that. But what it really comes down to is the next 13 sessions. We got Powell remarks, we got jobs, we got CPI, and we got the FOMC meeting decision on tap. So it comes down to the next roughly 2 weeks. And Larry Summers is giving Jerome a donut here. Why? Well, he's saying that not everything is A-OK. Larry Summers urges Fed's Powell to open door to 50 basis point hike in March. Former Treasury chief says Fed is again behind the curve. Oh, uh-oh. And there's 6 things which are making him look like he's falling back behind. All right, so we got some more chirping today. Fed's Dally, tighter policy for a longer time, likely needed. Why does this matter, though? Why? Well, because she's from San Francisco. Right? San Francisco, you know what to do over there. We print money. So she is the third most dovish member on the Fed. So when I hear a dove saying comments like this, tighter for longer, probably going to need to do more. That's much more significant to me than what Bostic said, who's already a little bit hawk. So he's a little bit hawk. He's a little bit less hawk. But then Dally is coming in consistent, right? Steady. And she's over here solidly in hawkish camp. So if the market got ahead of itself on Bostic, did it get ahead of itself again? Is Jerome going to come and deliver the hammer tomorrow? We can't deny that it was a bullish move. But as we laid out on the weekend, is it going to hold? That's what I mentioned. So this kind of looks a lot more like an exhaustion move just because there's not really the volume to confirm the move here. So we got an explosive move, but there's not really the volume. And it looks like an exhaustion to me just because we're hitting our downtrend. We hit the level I was looking for, roughly 303, roughly 407, 408. We filled our gap. And on S&P, we didn't quite fill the February 16th gap. QQQ did. But now it looks like it has to come back down and actually test this gap zone as well. And if it can come down and either test the gap or the 50 and 200, man, if we hit there and then we bounce, whoa, that's probably pretty bull. Why? Well, because there's still this gap that people like me are looking at and saying, well, I don't really believe this move. So we found sellers where we expect them to. Let's see if we find buyers where we expect them to. Or do they show up on the 200? Or do they show up on the 50? Or on the uptrend? Or not at all? That is like really important this week. So is Jerome going to throw his hands up and say, man, I don't know what to do. I'm just, not my department, sir. Or is he going to come in hawk? Or is he going to come in dove? Make sure to drop me a comment and tell me what you think. I'm going to ask one time only, please and thank you too. Smash that thumbs up if you're enjoying the content, and please consider subscribing to the channel if you're enjoying the content. We put out videos every single day. So we opened up today at 53. We pushed to 57 into green and right back to 54, which means emotions are high. Points, I'm talking like 5 points a day, 10 points a week. It's big. Here's another headline. China's cautious growth target limits help to world economy. They've limited their growth goal to 5% as their floor, which means what they want. Doesn't mean what they're going to get. So this means less stimulus is what it basically means, right? Leaders likely to avoid large stimulus as consumption rebounds. Well, what does this mean? Here's what it means for me. That last year, meaning 2022, they wanted to target a 5.5. They got 3. Well, this year they're targeting 5. So if we're expecting China to come in and drive up all this demand to drive commodities higher, demand higher, travel higher, maybe it's not. Or we got to temper our expectations. We can also note that a lot of miners, including like Freeport McMoran, and other, we can look at Rio. Other gold miners are down today just because of that softness for copper and other base metals like aluminum. So we'll come back to that note. Here's another one. They had their Congress or whatever over the weekend. China seeks, look at this word, peaceful reunification with Taiwan. Whoa. Yeah, that's right. Language largely unchanged. Okay, so they kind of understand, right? You poke the bear, yeah, he's probably going to give you the horns. Sorry, poke the bull, he's probably going to give you the horns. And that's what it looks like. So they've been poking, and now the U.S. is poking back. Let's read this headline from this morning. President Biden will continue to support Japan and Korea. Whoa, that's a really important statement. And then let's read this next one here. This one's a doozy. U.S. House Speaker McCarthy plans to meet Taiwan's president in the U.S. So he's not going to go to foreign soil, but this is the equivalent of when Speaker Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, met with the same person, the president of Taiwan, but she flew to Taiwan. Now the Taiwanese person is going to come here. Why? Because they're trying to send a unified message, like we just looked at with the headline from Biden, but going to Taiwan is going to poke the other team a lot more. So them coming here, Joe Biden being united with Japan and South Korea means like, hey, you guys better not mess around. And they're going to come here. Trust me, there's going to be a photo op, right? A photo opportunity, and it's going to be interesting. On the flip side, we got Team Bull here. Why? Well, because where Apple goes, the market goes. Apple readies its next range of Macs, including finally a new iMac. Stock is up. And Goldman Sachs finally initiates it with a buy. They've not had a price target on Apple for, I believe, for 3 years. Why? Well, because every retail trader just wanted to buy Apple up. And now that's kind of fizzled. It's gone a whole bunch of nowhere for a long time. So like, all the prem is burned. That's good. We like it. We think it could go to $199. Buy it now. Do it, please. So it's really interesting when we look at that. There's a lot of hawkish things. There's a couple of dovish things. We'll read this last note, then we'll look at the price action. So for this morning, I shared other notes. These are just the ones that I think are relevant. Feb 16th gap. Got to give a shout out to Habib who called this out on our pre-market stream. Again, link in the description if you want to find out more. Let's just read what the notes are, and then we'll see if we can understand what they mean. So Feb 16th gap. On QQQ, it got filled. This is 1 hour after the market opened at 303.15. What is that? It's right here. So we're looking back here to a gap that was left because the saying is that all gaps get filled, but they get filled in time. This one here, check. Gap is now filled. We have a very small one over here, and that's the downside gap that I'm looking to get filled. So QQQ filled its gap. S&P has not and still hasn't. So SPY only got to the high of the gap zone, did not actually fill the gap. The gap here is at 407.51. We got to a high of the day of 407.45. So it's within 6 cents of getting there, but it didn't quite do it. It didn't enter the gap. It didn't fill the gap. So there could still be another move higher, but it could get filled now. It could get filled later, or it could not get filled. The chances are just hard that it's going to get filled. Just give it some time. So that now looks like a reversal candle and looks a lot more like we have back over to here where we had that leg down, back to the 50, back to fill the gap. So it's kind of what I think is going to happen now. And I followed up by saying double gapping goes. So we cannot ignore the price action. I think a lot of this has to do with ES rollover where they're buying their short position out and then rolling to the next one. That's confusing for people. So just know that it's an important week. I went over it on the weekend. It looks like an exhaustion move unless volume comes in. So did volume come in? Well, it didn't impress me. And when I look here to the volume, we're just going to remove the price for now. We're just going to look at the volume. Who cares what the price is? We're looking to see if there's confirmation here. High, lower, high, lower, high. No. So there's no confirmation on the volume. The volume did not come in. So yes, price is king. But I think there's another reason for it. Again, I think it's the futures. I'm not going to read too much into it though. And then I shared about 4 hours after the market opened up, just around lunch. Short, there's a top fish play setting up here. Short trade, easier to enter when we fall back below the Friday high, which is going to give us a failed daily and weekly break. We went through that at the beginning of the video. And then the risk is to the weekly high. So let's understand what that means because this is your playbook. If we're going to be bullish, let's delete everything. I'll leave you with a clear action and takeaway. It's the same thing on QQQ. So just look over to that one if you want. Our high of the week, 407.45. So if you want to enter short here, enter on the breakdown for a retrace potentially to the 50 or even lower. And then your risk is up here to about 407, 408-ish, right? High 407s, low 408s. Target would be both the 50 DMA and the 50 weekly. This is just a note that I was planning to enter it with the futures. I decided not to because we've expired this week. But without over confusing it, that's pretty much it. If we go and print a new high of the week, it's probably going to be bullish. Why? Bullish engulfing weekly hammer. We back tested the candle highs and bounce. We're back up near the high of the week. We got 2 closes over the 50. That's your bull scenario. Post Powell, no matter what he says. The bearish scenario was that we're going to get a failed breakout here. And then where we land, well, I'd be looking at the real body, 400, 398, 398 for a math reason, right? We got our math, right? That stupid math, those robots at the 38% retracement or 39848. Yep. That's now also going to be our 50 weekly. Yep. It's also going to be our 50 daily. Yep. As it curls higher, also our gap. Yep. So for me, until that level gets tested, I'm going to continue to wonder whether or not it's truly support. And if it gets filled now and we bounce, just like we did last time, bounce. Well, I'm going to believe it. I'm going to go bull. I'm going to make some money. Thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.